All right, man. I can't wait to go read some YouTube comments. I wonder what everybody has to say. I'm so excited. Uh-huh. Oh, wow. Oh, everybody's so nice. Oh, my gosh. Wow. Oh, it's good to feel so welcome back. Oh, it's so great. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. But and in here, hey y'all. So I was reading some YouTube comments and it seems there's a bit of confusion. So just to kind of catch everybody up, maybe I did not appropriately articulate that this is going to be a multi-part series because there's so much to unpack in the Light No Fire trailer that it took me 1 hour and 45 minutes to shoot and record the whole video. And so I figured, hey, if I just put part 1 on the thumbnail and the title and the description, that would articulate clearly that indeed more is yet to come. Because there's just so much to talk about. And let me tell you, some of the coolest stuff is like in part 3 and 4 or something like that. So just, thank you for understanding. And most of y'all got the hint, and I appreciate that. But do look forward to the remainder coming out over time. So just a few things. YouTube algorithms are silly. I am building a channel up from like nothing. Again, so there's a few tricks of the trade that I have to observe when I release content. Mainly an hour and 45-minute long video, bad. Don't do it. But a few 20-minute uploads that people actually watch all the way through, good. Definitely do that. And that's just the rules that I have to follow, just as a content creator. So I would love to release everything all at once. I really, really, really would. But the YouTube people that exist in the world don't like it when I do that. So just a heads up, that's the reason why things are coming out in parts. I would love to put it all out there, but I am basically building a channel from nothing, and I know how to do it. I've done it before. I'm doing it again, and it's all good. So I just wanted to go ahead and make sure everybody understood that. I'm sorry I did not articulate that in the video because when I originally shot the video, by the time I got towards the end, I was thinking, okay, this video is probably about 30 minutes long, and then I looked at the clock and it said 1 hour and 35 minutes, and I was like, oh. Oh no. I had so much fun talking about the trailer that I had no idea that I had spent so much time talking about the trailer. So enjoy part 2, and part 3 will come out on Monday. Part 4 should be out on Tuesday, and I'm hoping part 4 will be the last part. All right, everybody, thank you so much, and enjoy Light No Fire trailer breakdown part 2. Thank you. Now, there's a lot of discussion going on. Is there any connection between Light No Fire and No Man's Sky? And the answer is, what do you think? Let's keep going. So here we get into this. Now, guys, gliders. Gliders. I am so down for this. I have loved gliding in games since playing Ion way back in the day, AION. Look it up. It's an old Korean MMO. It's one of my favorite MMOs, actually. Still is. Ion Classic was fun. And you can glide on your wings. And then, of course, Genshin Impact became a thing, and then Zelda became a thing, and exploring with a glider is just so cool. And I also feel like this is the answer to the jetpack speed boost that you can get when you go down various cliffs or peaks and valleys. You can get a little speed boost by, I think it's like unholstering your weapon while jetpacking down and jumping. And I forget, like, it's been a long time. But now we have the ability to glide, and I think that's just dope. Now, one big thing to pay attention to is that the player front and center here with his glider has a different glider than the player down here. So those are two different gliders. So that means to me that not everyone's going to have the same basic glider, but rather there are different designs. Oh, wait, no. That's a third player down here. That's not one person. That's two persons down there. So that's two different gliders down here. Okay, cool. So let's check that. That's two players down there, guys. Similar gliders. All right, fine. They look like the same gliders to me. They all look the same. Maybe a different color, but that could be because of rendering distance and details and things like that. I would like to see a variety of things like gliders and not have like one standard glider that everyone uses. So definitely having the ability to personalize the gliders, I would like to see. So here I was thinking that player just had a really trippy glider with like a double decker, but I'm realizing no, that's just two different characters down here. So there you have it. All right, let's keep it going. Guys, it doesn't get more fantasy than this. Guys, this looks amazing. One, giant bird creatures, love it. And then you get to be Mr. Bunnyman over here on the pigeon. Oh, and someone's going to correct me. That's not a pigeon, BDubz. I know it's not a pigeon. Calm down. I'm not a dum-dum. I'm not smart, but I'm not a dum-dum. No, look. That's dope. Another neat thing I love to see on these creatures are the saddles. These saddles look very well designed, and they spent a lot of time working on them. So one interesting thing is now that we are dealing with a single planet, we're used to the ProcGen engine supposedly creating random creations based off of certain bits and pieces and vortexes, etc., whatever you want to get into. And if you wanted to create something like a custom saddle for a particular creature, it's really difficult to do. But here, these creatures are procedurally generated, but after being procedurally generated and built out, they then get locked, and we can now begin building custom assets for them, which is definitely what they're doing, which is really, really, really cool. So that looks very good. I'm just digging that so much. Let's keep going. And so now we get into our main sort of scene here. So we'll go ahead and put our playback back to normal. We'll unmute it so we can listen to that awesome track. And here we go. So stop. Again, very realistic looking mountains. And one of the things that I think that we really just need to spend some time on is being curious about what's happening here. So in the real world, when we start seeing mountain formations that start doing this, stacked boulders, right? That is an object of curiosity in our real world. That is an object of curiosity. And we have a few others that are like it, but they're not quite as pillory. They don't look like pillars. These do. So if I were a player, I'd say, hey, what's going on over there? And I really hope I'm not going to be sorely disappointed when I approach. That being said, when we are curating content on a single planet, it is still an entire planet. That's huge. I do not expect someone to hand curate content over an entire planet within tight density. But at the same time, I do want to put in interesting looking objects for players to interact with or to see or to take pictures from and around, right? So I don't necessarily anticipate that something interesting is happening there. But I would hope so as a player. When we build those types of structures and that object of curiosity, that's what that is. I'm going to want to explore it. I'm going to want to know why the rocks are that way. Now, again, to compare it to real life, we have objects of curiosity in the world that we, to this day, do not understand where they came from, how they happened, how did these boulders get here? We do not know. So that might very well just be the case for the game as well. Can't figure out everything, right? There has to be some lingering mystery left in the world. So that is definitely a fun little thing to take a look at. Now, the next thing that I want to draw your attention to is, of course, we have the player housing. You don't need me to tell you that. You knew that. But we have what seems to be these houses. Now, one thing that I find interesting is that these houses have these placards or signs. Now, these signs, you would think you'd walk up to it and be like, hey, this is BDubz's house over here. This is Zero's house. And over here, that's Bobby's house. That's what we're used to in these types of games. Now, something that has kind of caught my mind is, okay, let's say that we have player housing, land ownership deeds. When you're dealing with an online world where you could have a bunch of people living together, my mind does kind of go, hey, is this going to be like No Man's Sky where everybody's in the same world? And if I build a house, everyone can come and see my house. The housing and the buildings is called persistent. That's according to the Steam page. It's persistent buildings. So what that means is I build it and it will be there when I come back. And I build it, and when other people come across it, they will see it. So when we talk about survival games, then the next logical question is, well, then, BDubz, can someone else come around and destroy your building? I'm going to be real with you. I think that answer is going to be no. I can't see No Man's Sky going down a path of PvP. The way they handled PvP, No Man's Sky, did I say No Man's Sky? I can't see Hello Games going that direction. The way they handled PvP in No Man's Sky was like a big afterthought. The way they did it was that players can toggle it on or off, and if you didn't want to be bothered by anybody, you'd turn it off. And the people who did want a PvP, they would turn it on, but they would never really run into anybody who wanted to It was weird. And it was really easy to troll people with it, and it kind of became a nightmare. I remember seeing stories of people's like big creations being destroyed from terraforming and other types of griefing and trolling, and it's not fun. It takes away from everybody's enjoyment of the game, and we definitely don't want that type of thing to be happening. So terraforming, probably not a thing that we're going to be doing in this game. I don't know. We don't have. I just maybe. I don't know. Probably not though. We'll see. But I don't think that PvP is a thing in this game. I don't think that they'll go that direction. Maybe we'll see. Maybe in certain areas of the planet, maybe particular continents where full PvP is enabled, that might be interesting. But typically, there's like a divide between the PvE-oriented individuals and the PvP-oriented individuals, where the PvE guys want to go and explore those continents. Oh, but I can't because it's PvP. You can't make everybody happy. There's no way you can do it. We'll figure that out. But I think that those signs, what I'm really driving at, those signs are basically denoting somebody's plot. I think it's more than just Bozo lives here. I think it's actually saying this plot or this area around the building is owned by a particular player or maybe an organization. Hello Games, hear me out here. Organization support would be wonderful. Wouldn't it be great to have a co-op or a group of players say, hey, we want to own something together and we want to build a city and we're going to tax or do this or do that, right? I'm just saying having shared land between an organization or a group of players would be super duper dope. So that's what I'm thinking is going on there. Other than that, of course, we have Mr. Dragon Boy sitting over here, which is really exciting. Let's continue on. So we get our first glimpse of someone actually building a building over here. And I love the animation of the stone coming one on top of the other. That's super cool. It's way better than stuff just appearing randomly. Like just sort of like it was just into place. I much prefer this approach. It's just so much better. Just so much better. Now, the next thing I'm noticing is this. We have another bear individual. I believe that is a bear. All right, pretty sure that's a bear. And he's carrying a log. Question, is that a player or is that an NPC? And I think that's actually a very valid question because we see more than 4 people around in this scene. We have a player or somebody gliding down over here. We have Mr. Bear over here. We've got this person over there. We have our player down here or somebody like a player, and then there's others over this direction. And then we'll see other players or people as we go about. So the question that I have is, hey, is that a player or is that an NPC? I don't know. If it's a player, then hey, guys, I hope you're ready to carry some logs. Some people are down for that. I'm one of those people. I like resource management, gathering. I like the realistic nature of carrying a big log. I think it's really cool that you can actively see, yo, bear dude over there is transporting timber or lumber. In this case, it's timber from one place to another. Super, super cool. So I'm super down with that. I think that looks really good. Let's continue on. So we have all this happening over here. Yep, there's another player. So now we've up to 5, and that's Mr. Bunny Man. Love it. And he's got something like sparking here. And if we scroll back just a little bit, and let's actually slow this down. There's something that's creating a sparking animation inside of the hut here. So let me mute this. There we go. So you see that? How that's sparking? What's up with that? If I didn't know any better, I think that was a bomb getting ready to go off. I think it's a bomb getting ready to... what's happening there? So I have no clue. Of course, it pans off camera. Now, we have some jars down here, and we're getting another just view of this wonderful mountain. It looks gorgeous. It just looks awesome. And then as we are coming kind of through this part of the trailer, you're going to notice that we have a building here. Your attention immediately wants to go to this magnificent bird that's taking off. But I don't want you to look at that right now. I want you to look at this. That looks like a sign. There's something like a knife on it and then some other emblem over here. So that looks like a sign to me. And so I'm beginning to wonder, okay, player trading, player shops, and that's another reason why, hey, NPCs, how much of a role do they play? Wouldn't it be cool if I had a shopkeeper, an NPC who I could hire who would sell things, who stop at this little village that people seem to be building? Depending on the survivalist nature of the game, the sharing of resources, goods, of different crafting disciplines and the like, if you yourself cannot craft every item in the game, but you have to have a discipline and you have to specialize in certain things, then suddenly stores and trade becomes a really interesting concept. And we don't have a galactic market. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to have players who are going to want to converge to work together, so that they can produce goods, sell goods, make money, and buy goods to have a really cool fantasy-styled player economy. Please tell me that's going to be a thing. Players set the prices. You have to go to the shops to buy them. Players are going to want to congregate in order to actually, for convenience sake, want to work together. And that would be absolutely sick. I think that would be awesome. So you get these player-created buildings. You can have a player-created tavern. I don't know. Maybe you can get drunk in this game. Guys, can we get drunk in this game? That would be great. Maybe player music. I think that would be super cool. I know Sean's played around with music concepts in the past when it's come to No Man's Sky. So player instruments. I would love to see some player instruments. You know, we have a very creative community in No Man's Sky circles. They like to chill. They like to relax. I would imagine these same guys would love to create their very atmospheric lounges, bars, clubs, whatever you want to call them, tavern. And people would love to just show up, play music, hang out with their friends, and have a good time. Like, when you have a sandbox like this, you do what you want. So having those tools like music instruments, please, 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 yes, I need that in my life. I really think that would be super cool to see in a game like this. But yeah, that looks like a sign to me. That looks like someone's advertising, hey, come here and get your knives. Excuse me. So that is certainly just really cool. Let's keep going. And we'll go ahead and put this back up to normal speed. Oh, why would I put it back to normal speed? This is a No Man's Sky trailer. I'm sorry, it's a Hello Games trailer. It's going to take a while for me to learn not to say No Man's Sky trailer. All right, everybody, this is the coolest thing ever. Because there's a few things happening here that is awesome. Again, we're in a situation where we see potentially 4 characters. We have the player that is in the dragon up here. We have, of course, this player who seems to be a human. So that's good. We could be a human. Then we got some type of, what is it, a badger? You can see the white stripe and the black. I forget what that's called. I think that's a badger over here on the boat. That looks super awesome. And then, of course, we have our another person in the boat there. Chances are there's someone in the boat out here, but we only actually see 4 characters in the scene. But what's cool about the scene is that we now understand that sailing in this game is a thing. Now, it's actually written into Steam. It says sail, sail. That is, yes. We would need a way of traversing water. Well, some people would say, well, just take a dragon and you can fly over the water to the other continent. I would expect that, unlike your spaceships where you're used to unfettered travel, this being a survival game where every character has a massive honking pack on their backs, I suspect that we're dealing with a situation in which encumbrance, endurance, stamina, speed comes into play. And if this is truly a planet-sized planet, then that means we're going to have Pacific Ocean-sized oceans. How are you going to get across that ocean? How long is it going to take you to travel on a sailboat to get across the ocean? What kind of dangers and perils could you encounter on an ocean-faring journey? You see, the thing is that we're used to looking at a Hello Games game through the lens of No Man's Sky. Now we have a planet where we do not have things like spaceships. So when we're talking about crossing an ocean, potentially discovering a new continent, that has to solicit some really primal, pioneering desires in our hearts and our minds, right? Oh, what's over there? Am I headed towards land? Did I go the wrong way? How do we navigate? Guess you got to start paying attention to the stars. Ooh, but that's at night. What happens at night? All sorts of fun things to start considering. So maybe we can make compasses. Maybe there's maps. Maybe there could be a skill set. This is a role-playing game, after all. This is as role-playing game features and character development. Now you got to start thinking, okay, well, then Maybe we could build a compass. Maybe I can get a cartography skill. That sounds like good. And I can, with a higher skill level, begin creating maps, and then I can sell those maps. Oh, and then we get the idea of treasure maps. Oh, and then you have to have maybe a skill of being able to read said map. I would imagine that would be left to the player. There's not, like, I don't like RPGs where everything is handled by dice rolls and by character sheets. I do like it when there is an innovative sort of like player interaction and player learning curve that needs to get in there. So that would be a thing. I think being able to read the maps should be up to the player skill level, not the character skill level. But there's all sorts of different questions you're going to have to ask about RPG systems and how we handle these things and potential. The problem with, games of this scale is, we've never played a game of this scale before. Like, you think about No Man's Sky, it's like, you never played, like, No Man's Sky now feels smaller, which is crazy. It does. It feels smaller because you think about a ocean-sized ocean, a real ocean-sized ocean. I want to get to some other land. I want to discover a new world, or maybe there's something that is beckoning us out into the ocean. That if we go out into the ocean, we can discover the Atlas. I'm sorry, whatever the red thing is, it's the Atlas. Calm down, right? Maybe we're no longer trying to get to the center of the galaxy. Maybe the win condition is find the Atlas. Oh, man. I love this.